We are here today to share with you the work of Five Flags Company. And first, I want to take this opportunity to welcome all of you. We are so grateful to have so many lovely friends and family here. And we want you to have fun. And we've been very blessed with so many people who have brought us so many gifts. First, we want to thank Jack LiGreci, who is part of the planning for this event, and of course his associates. Carol's in charge today. We have Sean at the bar, and we have all these wonderful people who really are amazing. I can tell you from experience. The Staten team is truly a team. They're marvelous. Give them a hand. All right, and also we want to thank our singers, Christina, Brennan, and Lynch. Special thanks to RSI for traveling all the way from Manahawkin, New Jersey to give us this unbelievable silent auction. Take a look on all sides. They have been setting up since 9:30 this morning. That's how much they brought. And we are truly grateful to our photographer and our videographer, Chris and Taylor, coming from FlintFotos. Five Flags Company, a nonprofit corporation, is here to serve the community of Staten Island. This company is not about us. It is about the people we serve. It is about reclaiming the American dream. Let's do it. Five Flags is here to provide financial tools, resources, and support to the financially underserved, such as the many Sandy victims that are still not in their homes, even today after 2 years. Five Flags is here to serve the employees who want to become owners so they can really take charge of their financial status and the salaries of their employees as well. Five Flags is here to serve the workers whose income is not enough to provide their families with basic needs, and also the financial opportunities that they need to experience to upward economic mobility. Our Five Flags team has worked very hard to make these hopes and dreams a reality. I would like each one of our board of directors to please stand as I call your names. Two of them I think are still outside. Tina Karras is the president. Where are you, Tina? Okay, great. Tina came in from Virginia. She's president of the company. And we have been working together for more than 3 years on this company. Spencer Cook, vice president, came in from Idaho, and he's technological whiz. Both of them are technology wizards. Shilpa Patel, Director of Finance and Marketing. One of the directors also of the Museum of Natural History in New York City. Karen Jackson, regrettably, could not be here. Karen works for Project Hospitality, and she's on our board, and she's Director of Community Outreach. Ayman Youssef, Director of Volunteer Development. Many of you know Ayman from halftableman.com, also a 501c3 nonprofit organization. And to help us today, we also have, this was one of the last minute decisions, so Desiree Arasi, who is our translator today. Desiree is here to work with us, and she has her friend who's also a translator, Wendy Hernandez, and her lovely daughter, Allison. And we have other family members and friends here. Shilpa has her friend, Donna, and her family, her parents. We're very grateful. And one of my interns from Wagner is here. We've dealt with about 7 or 8 interns since we started. Thomas Kendris, one of our famous interns. And he's here with his sister and mother. Thank you for coming, Thomas. Five Flags began about 3 years ago We heard the crying of America in 2008, 9, 10, 11, 12. In 2012, we went around the whole area, we took pictures, and we saw in 1 mile 14 stores closed, offices closed, jobless increasing, homeless increasing, hungry increasing. We had to do something. We officially began our public work after much preparation in response to a request by Priscilla Marco, who was president of Community Board 1. We began on June 16th when our friend and supporter, Connie Banasolis Saraccio, introduced our financial literacy program to the parents of PS 78. Connie is here today. Connie, stand please. Without Connie, we would not be here today. Connie and I have spent many hours planning all the programs that we have. We have 3 programs going on right now. And she has done everything pro bono. She is an amazing woman, and we are so grateful to have you, your wonderful husband, and your friends from BNI here today, the Business Networking International. Did I get that right? Thank you. Okay. This semester, we continue our financial literacy training to 5th graders and their parents at PS 78 in Stapleton. Five Flags will provide a $200 award to the winner of a lottery, which will include the names of all those who have attended all of the training classes. Now that class has 100 students, there'll be 100 adults. We're not sure how many yet will participate, but they will all have this opportunity to earn some real cash for the summer. In September, we began our adult financial literacy training program at Our Lady of Mount Carmel at the school. Throughout the last 3 years, we have set our goals, planned our programs, and formed local partnerships. Presently, we are working with the Small Business Association, which has mentored and monitored the formation of our company. Special thanks to Mitchell Lowell, and now we are working with Joe Patega and Sylvia Rivera. The Staten Island Business Outreach Center, which offers our clients business and technology training. The Staten Island Y New American Center, which has provided us with the space to conduct some of our financial literacy training classes for adults. Acción East, another company we've partnered with, a microfinancial company which provides loans of $700 to $50,000. And of course, the banks do not go that low. They actually start at $50,000. The Lower East Side Mobile Credit Union, which provides financial and business support. Santander Bank, which assists our clients with banking and credit opportunities. Six Figure Start, which through the kindness of Connie, has aided in the formation of the financial literacy program. PS 78, who with the support of Mr. Louis Bruschi, Principal, Mrs. Jody Contento, Vice Principal, and Ms. Maria Brancale Perez, Resource Coordinator from the UFT, we have been able to organize the 2015-2016 Financial Literacy Program. Another company, Start Small, Dream Big, a company which connects our clients to pro bono attorneys in Manhattan. We are looking now for one on Staten Island, a pro bono attorney that is, and we will be meeting with one to make that choice early next week. Macy's, which worked with us to utilize the benefits of their Shop for a Cause Day. They work very hard for nonprofit organizations. Razoo.com, our crowdfunding site, which helps us to raise funds. They are working with us to earn the money we need to hire the experts needed to do the job of training for growth in these companies. These experts will establish skill sets for each level of work needed at each company and will analyze the skills of each employee and what that employee needs to succeed. At that point, we will provide the training which will be required. Our local companies have also been very supportive. We received baskets for this event from Portobello's Restaurant, Eltingville Florist, Vintage Wine and Liquor, Alfonso's Bakery, Holiday Beverage, and Sephora's Beauty Products. When community organizations support and collaborate with each other, we can succeed. We give special thanks to RSI, who supplied this magnificent silent auction. They came in from Manahawkin, they traveled far, and we thank all of you. Lauryn Evans, who's in charge, Tiffany, her assistant for today, and we thank them very much for supplying this beautiful arrangement. To date, we have had the honor of training our hardworking, dedicated clients who are aspiring to become CEOs of their own companies, construction companies, food distribution, custom woodworking, retail focused on the sale of health products and clothing made from organic material, trucking, and prescription therapy management. We will soon be working with a flooring company and a landscaping company. I have some very close friends here, Bulmaro and Yuri. Please raise your hands or stand. And Bulmaro and Yuri are helping me also to get new clients and to participate in this program. We have also received our request to form a cooperative construction company where about 50 workers will become owners and their salaries can grow as their company grows. Now this has been amazing. In Brooklyn they have this cleaning company, which is a cooperative company. 62 members. They made over $1 billion last year. Because when you have a team working together, you can make more money, you can succeed more effectively and efficiently, and within a shorter amount of time. You might be wondering about why we have selected the name Five Flags. This stands for the 5 values that we believe are invaluable to the success of all the companies we serve. Integrity, mutual respect, transparency, responsibility, and purpose. And ours is the creation of more and more jobs, and through these jobs, the ends to the evils of poverty. As many of you know, close to 20% of our Staten Island residents on the North Shore are haunted daily by the terrible effects of poverty. In this month, in this year, there has never been more hunger or homelessness on Staten Island than there is now. We at Five Flags are working hard to provide the financial tools, resources, and support which will help all of our families on Staten Island. We do our best to provide for financial opportunity for all the members of the Staten Island community. We are trying to make our community a better place to live, but we can't do it on our own, and that's why you are here today. All our services are free. We have spent hundreds of hours, maybe thousands, in the last 3.5 years, but we did not get 1 penny. We can buy materials for our program only with your help. We can hire experts in the fields of financial planning, data analysis, technology, and training only with your help. We can open a space where our clients can be interviewed and trained in skills that promote personal and company growth, but we cannot do it without you. Support us today, please, by making a donation and changing the world right here in our own community. When we start small, we can dream big. Donation envelopes are on the tables. Please help us help the financially underserved of Staten Island. And we thank you again for coming today. We are so thrilled to have you. You are very special. We are now going to hear from our RSI. Lauryn, are you here? Oh, great. Lauryn Evans is in charge of this wonderful company which helps nonprofit organizations. She is going to speak to you now about silent auction.
Hello, everyone. Well, as you heard, I mean, this is a great organization. As a woman business owner, I appreciate what you guys do, and I'm hoping that, along with the donations and the envelopes on the table, that you'll take part in the silent auction. Every bid does benefit the fund, and if you have any questions, please feel free to ask me. everything has an opening bid. I don't know if everyone knows what a silent auction consists of. There is a minimum bid on each piece. That's the first line. There's an increment right above that you have to outbid one another. And we are going to call it probably about 3:30, maybe 3 o'clock. I'll let you know as we get closer, but we'll call a time. And at that time, whoever the last bidder is, you're going to take that home. We do take cash, checks, and credit cards. And again, everything that you guys don't take home is something lost for Five Flags. So I'm hoping that you all take a look and get yourself something or something for someone else. Tiffany and I, Tiffany's in the back, we would be happy to answer any questions that you have. Okay, again, you do take your items home tonight, and I will let you know what time we're going to close as we get closer. Thank you so much.
And next, we are honored to have our vocalists. Our wonderful vocalist, Liam Lynch, singer, songwriter, and musical accompanist, and Christina Brennan, singer, songwriter, dancer, and actor. Now, a few notes on Liam. He is a singer, of course, who spent the past year and a half pursuing a music career. His live shows consist of just himself, a guitar and a microphone running into a loop machine to create full beats and sounds with musical layering. He's eager to play some tunes for you today, and we hope you enjoy. Christina is a student in LaGuardia High School. She is a singer and songwriter as well as an actress and a dancer. She performs at the St. George Theater, and she is currently running for Miss Teen, Staten Island, and looks forward to performing for you as well. One further point, because she's running for Miss Teen, they have a booklet where they place ads at the performances when the teens perform, and they also have a scholarship fund. So if you can please consider sponsoring Christina. She's an amazing young woman and young girl. I'll call you a woman for today. And I think she would love to have any help that she can get, definitely from any of you. Thank you so much. All right, let's give it up. Christina and Liam.
Sold an empty house. The stairs creak as you sleep, it's keeping me awake.
The house just telling you to close your eyes.
And some days I can't even dress myself.
It's killing me to see you this way.
'Cause though the truth may vary, this ship will carry our bodies safe to shore. It's an old voice in my head that's holding me back.
Tell her that I miss our little toes.
Soon it will be over and buried with our past.
We played outside when we were young and full of life and fun.
Some days I don't know if I'm right or if I'm wrong.
Your mind is playing tricks on you, my dear.
'Cause though the truth may vary, this ship will carry our bodies safe to shore.
So don't listen to the words I say. Screams all sound the same. And though the truth may vary, this ship will carry our bodies safe to shore.
Gone away, I watched you disappear.
And all that's left is the ghost of you.
Now we're torn apart, there's nothing we can do.
Go and then we'll meet again soon.
Now wait for me, please hang around.
I'll see you when we fall asleep. And though the truth may vary, this ship will carry our bodies safe to shore. So don't listen to the words I say. The screams all sound the same. And though the truth may vary, this ship will carry our bodies safe to shore. And though the truth
something, I'm giving up on you. And I'm feeling so small. It goes over my head, and you're nothing at all. And I stumble and fall. Still learning to love, just starting to crawl. So say something, I'm giving up on you. I'm sorry that I couldn't get to you. And anywhere I would follow you. So say something, I'm giving up on you. And I swallow my pride. I'm sorry that I couldn't get to you. And anywhere I would have followed you. So say something, I'm giving up on you. Say something, I'm giving up on you. Say something.
Thanks, guys. That's all for now. We'll be back later.
Good afternoon, welcome guests. Today, we have the pleasure to hear from a woman who has a strong family foundation, who has helped and inspired many. She has the ability to make her clients strive to meet and exceed their potential. Connie Thanasula-Saraccio is a career coach, author, and speaker on all things related to job search and career success. She co-founded Six Figure Start, a career coaching firm managed by Fortune 500 recruiters in 2008. With her colleague and friend of over 20 years, Caroline Sinisa Levine, Connie spent 25 years on Wall Street at firms that included Merrill Lynch. Her last role was Chief Operating Officer of firm-wide campus recruiting. Citigroup, where she headed of university relations. At Pfizer, she headed the firm-wide campus recruiting. Caroline and Connie led recruiting at Time Inc. after a career in management consulting. Together they worked closely with individuals and groups to master career job search success. In 2011, they co-authored a job search textbook which is issued at 40 universities across the United States. 6 Steps to Job Search Success. They are both often in the press, with Connie quoted in Business Week, The Wall Street Journal, ABC.com, and NBC.com. Lastly, she is also an adjunct professor of professional development at Columbia University since 2009. Connie used the knowledge she learned in corporate world to build a successful business 8 years in the running. She will share those success strategies with you today to help you build a new business and help you and your current business have the best year ever. Without further ado, I present an incredible leader who I am honored to call friend, Connie Thanasula-Saraccio.
Good man. Thank you. Okay, thanks. Well, I really really appreciate that, Frank. Thank you so much. Frank and I are friends for many years, and it's terrific when you build a business on Staten Island. You really come to know some great people, and I want to thank my husband, Ron Serraccio, for being here, my good friends, Victor Avis, Bill Hetherington, Karen. So welcome everyone, and thank you for listening to me. I am going to share a couple of things, and of course I thank Marjorie, because she and I have been working together to just help people. That's really what we've been doing, is to just help people. So what I thought I'd do is I'm going to share I'm going to share 6 success strategies on how to build your own business. But before I do, I was thinking about it today, and I realized that I come from a long line of entrepreneurs. So I've been an entrepreneur for 8 years now, and it's just been a terrific ride. But I thought back, and you know, my grandfather, I'm going to bring it to the early 1900s really quickly. I'm not going to stay there for a long time, but I am going to say that my grandfather, his name was Constantinos Stanasoulis, I was named after him, came from Athens and came to Staten Island. He was such a proud American. He was supposed to join the Greek Navy, and his father said, his father wanted him to join the Greek Navy, but he decided he wanted to be an American. He wanted to join the American Navy, and he did, against his father's wishes, but he was forgiven because the Greek ship he was supposed to be on sank. So thank God, you know, that's why I'm here today. Thank God. Anyway, but he was so proud to be an American, and when he came to this country, he started his own business. And he was a farmer. So he was a farmer from Greece. He came here, he bought some property, and he started to farm and till the soil. And I remember when I was and he worked 7 days a week when he did that. Always hard worker. I think I got that from the genes in my family, because my grandfather worked so hard with the farm. It was a whole family effort. And I remember with his big construction boots, when he would till the soil, and it was such rich, dark soil. I remember him standing in front of me and him sticking the heel of his boot into the soft soil, and I would be behind him, and I was only 6 or 7, and I would drop the seeds in the ground and cover them up, and then I'd keep up, and we would do rows and rows, and I was just so happy to do that. But it was a beautiful way to grow up, and I never thought he was an entrepreneur, but he was. He really was, and he employed other people, and we came to know them like family. So this was just all I really knew, was having your own business. And then when my father, Pericles Stanasoulis, they're really into these Greek names, Pericles Stanasoulis, he married my mom, Helen, and together they had a luncheonette. So, you know, a little luncheonette that sat maybe 50 people. And my dad worked 7 days a week, and that's just what I knew. And I thought everybody did that, you know, so they were such hard workers. And my mom worked 5, if not 6 days a week. But they understood the power of being a business owner. And it's an incredible power. And, you know, again, it was second nature to me. So I grew up knowing that. And I noticed that business owners support other business owners. So when my grandfather had his farm and he needed something that he couldn't grow, he would get it from the Italian farmer next to him or the Irish farmer next to him, and they made it all happen, and it was really exciting. But the power of business ownership is something that I just want to share with you today. I remember I did have it in my genes. When I was 11, I became an entrepreneur because we had some vegetables left over from the season, and I remember making a sign, and it would say 5 pounds of tomatoes for $1. I don't think you can get that today, but they were beautiful tomatoes. I was like, they're gonna go to waste, Mom. Can I make a sign, and can I sell them at the front of the street? And I did. I made $22 in a week, and I remember my sisters laughing at me, but then they wanted some of my $22, and I did give it to them. So I remember being in awe that I made something from nothing. Not from nothing, but I saw an opportunity, and I went with it, you know. So after graduating college, I decided to go into corporate life. Again, it was not second nature because everyone in my family had their own business, but I don't know, it was a thing to do, it just happened, and I went and I started to work at Citigroup, and I had a career, before I knew it, 25 years went by. I was at Citigroup, I was at Pfizer, I was at Merrill Lynch, and the business that I gravitated towards was staffing. So I literally hired thousands of people over those years. And I remember interviewing thousands of people. I mean, I could read a resume in 7 seconds. It's just, you know, that was my trade at the time. And I loved it until I didn't like it anymore. And I said, well, what am I going to do with my life? You know, it was a new start. And I guess that entrepreneurial gene kicked in. And I said to myself, well, what do I do better than anybody else? What service can I do that could make a difference and where I could earn a living? So I knew that I knew how to get employed because I hired so many people, so I know what it takes to get employed and what it doesn't take to get employed. So a friend of mine, Caroline, she and I created this business called Six Figure Start, and we meet one-on-one with individuals, with groups. I do teleseminars, you know, I have global clients, and I help them to figure out how to get a job. And it's a service that I give which has shown me the power of business ownership. And I remember in my first year, there were actually 3 of us at the time when we first started, and in our first year we made $68,000. And you could have knocked me over with a feather because I said, wow, you know, that's, I mean, it wasn't near my corporate salary, but it was from just an idea that we had. And you know, my check at the end of the year was $18,000. There were 3 of us. And I was so excited over that $18,000 because I knew if I could do that, I could really, really grow this business, which we've done in 8 years. The 4th year in business, I surpassed my corporate salary. So I was very, very excited, and I knew we were on to something. But the thing I really knew was the power of business ownership. Like my grandfather, like my father and mother, I realized that you can create something from an idea and you can run with it. So my point here to all of you who are looking to start your own business and grow your own business is to do it. You know, entrepreneurs make their own destiny. Entrepreneurs do what they want to do and they determine their worth. That was the empowering thing to me. It's that you determine your worth. And if you want to make more money, then you do more of what you want to do. And there really is no stopping except any limits in your mind that you create. So for anybody here that wants to do that, I applaud you and I support you, and I've worked with Marjorie to help people understand core components of business ownership, and I'll continue to do that because I truly believe that with entrepreneurs, your faith will sustain you. You will figure it out because you can believe that it can happen. And I think the belief is everything. And I'm going to say something else. Even if you don't have the belief, you can make it happen. Because I'm a big tennis fan. Is anybody here a tennis fan? I'm a big tennis fan. And in the US Open this year, in the finals, were 2 Italian women playing each other. And the one who actually won did not believe she could ever win the US Open. She had bought a ticket to go home the day before, but she had to cancel. So she did not believe she could win, but she still won because she put all of her effort and her passion, and you know, one point at a time, one point at a time. Same thing with the business owner. One day at a time, one day at a time. I won't say it's easy because I think back on my grandfather, how hard he worked, my parents, how hard they worked. And it's not easy. Sometimes my husband says, Connie, you work harder now than you did when you worked for Merrill Lynch. And sometimes I do. But I think it's part of who you are as a person that you do what you have to do. And because you have a passion behind it, it works. And I am not alone in this belief, because at my table I want to share that Bill Hevington, Bill wave to everybody. Bill's father-in-law started a moving business called Nick's Moving, and now it's called Brennan and Sons. What's that? They're both names, right? And because I didn't know Bill until 8 years ago, but I moved into my new home 11 years ago, and his company moved me in there. So Bill knows the power of business ownership. Victor Victor Avis is here today. He's part of a third-generation dentist business, so he's an entrepreneur, and he puts forth his vision for his business, which I guess has some similarities to your grandfather and your father, but he's put his own special brand on there because Victor's a special man. Frank is where's Frank? There he is. Frank's a good friend of mine. He's an accountant by trade, and he's an entrepreneur who's built his business alongside other entrepreneurs, and they all kind of support each other, which is one of the tips that I'm going to share for success later today with you. And I also want to share Karen at my table. Karen, wave your hand. Karen is someone you really want to know because your parents came from Mexico. And how much did they have with them when they came? Nothing. They came with nothing. And today, Karen, we're fortunate to know her. She is accepting a promotion with her company. She's going to be moving off of Staten Island, sadly for us. But luckily for us, we're going to have a friend in Fishkill, New York? Fishkill, okay. Sorry. I just heard of Fishkill today. I'm talking to her. So, the bottom line is, even if you're here and you're not an entrepreneur, you know what it takes to succeed. You know, we were just talking at our table and we were saying that you are where you are today based on all the decisions you've made. Hopefully they've been good ones, but you know what? You learn from the bad ones too. You really learn from the bad decisions. You learn from, I think of in my 25 years in corporate, some of my tougher bosses, and I have had some tough bosses, but I've learned from them. And I've taken what I've learned and I've applied that to my own business. So, so I hope you can appreciate the fact that I think we are who we are based on our family, based on our friends, and the people that we care to associate with, but also because we have our own uniqueness that we can add to the mix as well. And I certainly thank you for letting me share my little family story with you. But I did promise, Marjorie, that I would share the 6 steps to creating a successful business. So is it okay if I do that now? All right. So the first tip that I will give anyone, and can I see by a show of hands who is interested in, who either has their own business or is looking to build a business? So if you raise your hand. Okay, so a good amount of people. So here are my 6 tips for you. Number 1, you have to have a pitch. You have to be able to tell people what you do in a clear, fast, concise manner. So I remember Caroline Sinisa-Levine, my partner, she called me up one day. She said, Connie, we started this business, but what are we going to say that we do? And how are we going to say it? I said, oh my goodness, I don't know. So we started to think and we said, okay, we are former 500 recruiters. We have hired thousands of people. We know what it takes to get hired and what it doesn't, and we will help you think like an employer so that you get hired. So we pieced that together in about a 30-minute conversation. But whatever you do, you have to understand that there's so much competition out there, right? We all know that innately, but your pitch will enable you to separate yourselves from the competition. So my pitch, I work for Fortune 500 companies instead of regular companies. So that's the way, you know, because if you look up career coaches if you Google it, you'll see 500 of them just in this area. So you always have to separate. So we said, okay, we work for Fortune 500 companies, and then we said, okay, we've written a book, and it's used at 40 universities, and lastly, we've hired thousands of people. So we tried to piece together the very best of what we do and put that forth so people could understand what we do. So it does take a conscious effort to figure out how you're going to describe yourself and separate yourself from the pack. Okay, so that's tip number 1, is create a pitch that separates you from others. Tip number 2 is basically to become a networking machine. And I think that a lot of us appreciate it. In fact, the folks at my table, I've met them all through a networking group called BNI. Does anyone know BNI? It's just one of those frameworks that allows entrepreneurs and business owners to get together, and we, in our chapter, the referrals we pass to each other has generated over $2 million worth of business. So that is pretty impactful if you think about it. We've generated $2 million worth of business just with about 40 people around the room. So become a networking machine and associate with individuals who are connected, because it's those connections that are going to sustain it. And as a networking machine, you know, when you are a networking machine, you'll differentiate yourself when you do more than is what's expected of you, and when you do what you say you're going to do. I found that in life, there are people more often than not that won't do that. And you know what? If you work for a company, and that's a wonderful way to go too. I mean, my husband is part of the court system, and I've never met someone who networks better than my husband, because he's always giving to people. He's always helping people. And that's how you build that reputation that is rock solid, because whenever Ron needs something, they will jump to help him. And that's not why he does it, because he's such a good person. That's why he does it. But when you give and give and give, people are going to want to give back to you. So tip number 2 is to become a networking machine. And you know, Warren Buffett is a big hero of mine, and I'm going to share a quote from him. And he said, it takes 20 years to build a reputation and 5 minutes to ruin it. And it's so true. So, and he said, if you think about that, you'll do things differently. So Warren Buffett always is helpful in matters of business. Tip number 3 is you have to master the ask. And what do I mean by that? When you're a business owner, if you know that you do something better than anybody else, you have to spread the word. And it's not that you have to ask for business, but you have to let them know what you do in a way that would appeal to them. So it has to be both generous and non-committal. Let them know what you do and check in with them regularly. Because maybe if you're a carpenter and somebody that you know knows you're a carpenter, it's nice to remind them every once in a while, oh, you know, I'm so excited, I just did this project for somebody. Because out of sight, out of mind, we're going to forget. So you always have to master that ask by checking in regularly with people, see what they're doing, see what projects they're having around their house, and out of sight, out of mind. All right? Tip number 4 is you have to focus as an entrepreneur. You have to focus on how to generate revenue. Because, you know, without revenue, we're all going to be in trouble, right? If we're bringing in $0, we're not going to be in business for very long. So you have to concentrate on revenue generation. So I'll just give you a couple. I have 11 tips here for how to generate revenue, but you have to send direct emails to people, meet face-to-face with people. You have to email friends and family and let them know what you're doing. You have to speak at different events. You know, when I first started my business, I went to Rotary clubs and Kiwanis clubs, and I volunteered a lot because I wanted to kind of get my sea legs a little bit. I'll give you an example. I went to Tottenville High School, and they have a college office, a career office. And I went there, and I went to Mr. Rubinson, who happened to be my biology teacher when I was in high school. I went to Tottenville High. And I said, Mr. Rubinson, do you remember me? He said, no, I really don't. So I said, okay. I said, listen, and I told him what my career trajectory had been, and I said, can I volunteer and help you in the college office? And he said, you know, I appreciate that, but I have a lot of people to help me, but I know a teacher who's looking for someone to help their students with their business skills, and she got a grant, she's willing to pay people. I said, sure, that's great, you know, let me talk. And I've been working with her for 7 years, you know, and if I think about the revenue just from this one client over the 7 years, it's been about $50,000 over 7 years, which I think is terrific. So think about speaking to people. Sometimes you're going to end up doing things, you know, without pay or without a fee, but as long as you can do it and as long as it makes sense to build up that base of people who know who you are, I say do it. It can only help. And you know, here's another quote from Napoleon Hill, who is a very prolific business writer. He's very well known for entrepreneurs, and he says, if you cannot do great things, do small things in a great way. And I think that makes a lot of sense. So think about revenue generation, and I'm going to give, I have 11 tips. I'm going to give them to Marjorie. If you want to put them on your website, please do. But it's something that I've built in over these past 8 years of generating revenue. Okay, tip number 5, we just have 2 more left. Tip number 5 is you have to have some kind of media strategy, because this is a different world today. You know, I just heard, I was watching the news this morning, and it said that baby boomers still use travel agents, most of them, whereas Generation Y almost books all of their travel online. So online is such a huge component of business that, you know, of course the website is the minimum that you should have, and it doesn't have to be, you could find companies to put a website together for you for free. You really could. I mean, you could find a lot of, the resources out there are tremendous. But also a blog, if you just write, you know, here's a story of how I got my book deal. We would write a blog 2 or 3 a week, my partner and I, and after about a year, Flat World Publishers contacted us and they paid us to write our book, and they said, you know, we loved your blogs, we've been following you for almost a year now. So a media strategy could really bring in revenue and could really build your credibility. So that's something that you might want to think about. Also with a media strategy, I'll also say something that's really critical are testimonials. So if you've done some work for somebody and they're happy with what you do, you've got to use those testimonials. They're on my website. I put them on every proposal I put together, and I send out 1 to 2 proposals, well, actually about 3 to 4 or 5 a month. I have a page of testimonials, and I have different types of testimonials. I have individual client testimonials, I have university testimonials, I have parent testimonials. Parents hire me to work with their children. So based on who I'm dealing with, I supply testimonials that give that good fit to that person. And what I will say is tip number 7 is something that Bill Gates taught me. Not that I don't know him personally, but you know, he's good friends with my hero, Warren Buffett, so whenever I see Warren Buffett, Bill Gates is sitting right next to him. And a reporter said to Warren Buffett, if you could have any superpower in the world, what superpower would you want? So I couldn't wait to see what Warren Buffett would say. And he said, you ready for this? He said, I don't know. I said, oh my God, how could he not know something, you know? But then the reporter went right to Bill Gates and they said, if you could have any superpower, what would you want? And this is what Bill Gates said. He said, I wish I was a super fast learner, a super fast reader, because then I'd be a super fast learner. He said, if somebody puts their life's knowledge in a book, and I can read that book in 5 minutes, there would be no stopping me. So at first I thought being a super fast reader was a dorky response. I said, oh my goodness. I said, look at this guy. He's right. You have to be a constant learner in life. And there's a great quote from Gandhi that I'm going to share, and he said, we should live as if we die tomorrow and learn as if we live forever. And I thought that that was such a great quote, because learning is really everything. It's really everything. There is a quote that gets me inspired. Whatever inspires you, I suggest that you use it in life, because there are going to be times where things are tough, and you need to pick yourself up and start over again. And whether it's a quote, and I'm going to share my quote from Eleanor Roosevelt. She said, "You must do what you think you cannot." For some reason, that just gets me up in the morning and gets me to do things that I'd rather not do, but I know I have to do it to build my business. You must do what you think you cannot. But whether, you know, my partner, to get herself motivated, she has a picture of her kids. And she looks at that before she goes into a big meeting to pitch her business. You know, she said, well, I'm doing it for my kids. And then if things don't work out, she said, well, they're the ones that really count. You know, so find something to motivate you, to keep you going, because it's not always easy, but it should always be your journey. You know, you only live once, but if you do it right, that's all you need. You just need one time to go around. And I want to say that I'm very grateful that my parents and my grandparents laid out a vision of how to be an entrepreneur. It took me 25 years, but I caught on after that. And it's just been a great ride. So I commend you all for being here. It's a sunny, beautiful Sunday afternoon, and you're here, and it means a lot that you're here. So I thank you for coming, and I thank you for listening to me. So have a wonderful day, everybody, and it's a pleasure.
Well, now you know why I just love having Connie in my life. She is so inspirational and always like this. I'm telling you, full of the joy from within. And even when she's going through a time that is difficult, she just tells you exactly how she feels. And she makes you understand that it's only going to be this way now, but it won't be that way forever. Well, Connie, we can't let you go home today without something special from Five Flags, because without Connie, truly, we would never have gotten this far. And it was Frank here who actually put us in touch with each other.
Oh, that's right, that's right.
So, Frank is going to present this wonderful gift to you.
Oh my goodness.
This is a plaque. It shows what Five Flags brings up on it. And it's something we hope that will always be there, so that you will never forget all the wonderful work you did with us and how much we truly appreciate it.
Thank you so much. It's my pleasure. My pleasure.
All right, now we have a final announcement by RSI. Lauryn? Please support Lauryn's company, because they were here, believe it or not, setting up from 9:30 on, because they brought this wonderful, wonderful arrangement.
I hate to say this out loud in front of a room full of people, but Connie, I think I might have a girl crush on you. You're wonderful. I love listening to you. You were definitely inspirational. I definitely like that, and I can relate to, you know, almost all of it, starting this company 15 years ago, and I think we did 10 auctions the first year. Right now we do about 200 a year. So I always try and make a difference with the funds that we're trying to help.